this blender. Let's hit tab. What are we gonna do? We're gonna make a cucumber. Probably like some of the easiest stuff. Now you can make it several ways. You can make it so I'm holding control to get that action happening there. Okay. You see this here? This is like a soft selection. I'm going to use that to scale one end. Also help if you're doing anything in 3D, is also help get actually seeing an image of it. I'm going to turn off this soft selection. So what I'm doing, I'm drawing a box around these vertices and I'm pressing G, the G key, to grab these points. This is not a tutorial, this is just basically me working in Blender, guys. And if you want more of a tutorial thing, just leave me, you know, suggestion in the suggestion box and say, hey Nick, can you make it more tutorial-like? And I'll be like, okay. As I said, you know, we could do stuff this way. Scale on the X. So far it doesn't look too much like a cucumber, it looks more like a banana. Let's get the cucumber. There's different ways you could have done it. We could have used the cylinder to do this. But no. I obviously like to do things the hard way. Okay, let's use that tweak tool. So you just come up here, choose tweak, and you can do stuff like this and just grab. And I'm holding control and right click in my setup a blender here to get that lasso tool, the lasso tool. In the past, you would have to really strategically make this cucumber, like put the bombs, model all that in, and you could still do stuff like that. I mean, having those skills in managing polygons and getting an effect, you know, just using rudimentary tools is great, but now we have things like and it's essential. Now we have things like sculpting that helps. I mean, this could have just been like a single sculpt off of a sphere, but I want to show you how to make like a base object, a base shape of what it is you want. Then, right? And then we're doing anything, we got to use reference also. Right? And you're trying to reach to your end goal as quickly as possible. Then, you know, the tweaks is what makes it look realistic, right? Let's be a little bit neat about this. Let's save this as a tutorial. And I'm gonna grab this down here and do some like, grab this. The cucumber could be a little straighter too, and also upturned and bent. So let's rotate that, something like that. Top view. what we're gonna do now, gonna hit B, make a selection, scale X. Then I'm gonna delete one side, so we're gonna switch over into face mode. I'm gonna hit B again, I'm gonna delete one side. Delete X faces. Let's go into shade, let's get shaded. So this is our basic cucumber shape. And let's mirror this. So we're gonna go into the modifiers and then mirror X. See, we got like that happening there. Vertex, grab Z. Now let's do let's collapse all that, and then what I'm gonna do is add a subdivision modifier in there. Subdivision surface. Come here, okay, I'm just gonna weld all the points. Right, so now notice how there's like a definite line there. Just grab that guy. Let's soften him out by just doing like that. Selecting the loop. Scale, and let's go to Z. Oh, look at that. He wasn't even attached. That's interesting. Let's just select that again. Let's go P, selection. Just delete that guy. Let's delete this, and let's just do that mirror again. And this time, let's merge, merge. Okay, set the C again. Set that subdivision modifier. There you go, that's better. So that's more of a cucumber-like look. But don't take my word for it, we could actually look online, right? And that's what we should be doing whenever you're doing anything. You know, because we have the internet now, you could definitely look for some sort of, let's just make this a little bit fatter. In the middle. You know, cucumbers are irregular shapes, right? Not irregular, they're not all one way. Because it's actually like a gourd. They call it gourd vegetable or something like that. Alright. So we're now dealing with the subdivision surface. Let's scale this a little bit. Because that's where let's say the cucumber grows from here. Let's rotate. This is part of realism, seeing the imperfections in real life. Don't take my word for it, let's look online right now and see what cucumbers should look like. But before we even continue to do that, let's just save right now. Alright, I'm gonna make a folder called tutorial, so we're gonna go home and desktop tutorials. Blender, let's be specific. Now put xsinick. XSI. Of course, my actual name is xsinick. Cucumber. Save. Okay, so let's go online and take a look. Let's type cucumber. Oops, there we go. Let's look. See many different kinds of cucumber. I'm doing like a specific one. That's like these. Look at that cucumber. See, it has like some irregularity to it. So let's use this guy. Let's open a new tab. Let's just take a look. Look at that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna take a screenshot of that guy. My screenshots. Cannot find it. screenshot. Let's add this to panel. Let's get this guy all the way over here. Open him up. On to selection. Take screenshot. Let's grab this. It's a cucumber screenshot, and you can even use this as a texture if you want. Well, let's not do that as of yet. Copy to clipboard, and let's open bref, and let's edit, paste. There we go. We don't have to save this. Cancel that, and that's it. And then bref, we could tell bref to float on top of everything. So view, always on top. There we go. So this is our cucumber reference. Let's close the internet. And there you go. So see, it has like some irregularity. So let's just get that in the modeling here. Just scale it down, see what we get. Oh yeah, already starting to feel cucumber like, and here maybe a little bit bulbous. So let's do that. Scale that. Yup. There we go, buddy. I think I want to rotate this guy. Right. And if you want to rotate it on in a specific spot, all you gotta do is come here, and instead of rotating it on these different things, you want to rotate it on the 3D cursor, and then you right click. Whoop. You click holding shift, and you get a 3D cursor there. Now when you rotate, it will be on that 3D cursor. So that's a little tippy, snippy tippy. I want to make this part here a little smaller, so let's do this, scale towards that. This is our cucumber. Grab that. So yeah, I'll make sure. I have to be perfect always around, but we want it somewhat decent, right? Then we're going to move this into the sculpt. Let's take a look by this rotating in 3D and see what this looks like. So this looks cucumbery to me. Let's select these guys here for a minute. And let's scale these guys this way. Scale X. Oop. There's somebody selected extra. Scale X. Right. I'm scaling off of that cursor, so I want to turn it back to the bounding box of what I have selected. Scale X. Alright. And let's take a look. It's looking good. Let's go top. And the cucumber is, so right now it looks kind of eggplanty, so I want to rotate, I want to bend it this way. Alright, so let's do that. You could do this. You could click this button right here. And you can see like a see-through thing. Just grab that. Let's just grab the middle portion here and just kind of do something like this. Just like that. Let's rotate this. Let's grab. Let's rotate. Let's grab this part here. Do something like this. Scale. Alrighty. Alright, so I'm just gonna collapse all this into, let's get out of here, let's collapse all this into like, so this is our object. Let's make it, let's turn off this ghosting thing and make it solid. Let's just jump straight into the sculpting. So let's go straight into sculpting room. Alright, this is the easy part, right? So before we do that, let's just right click on this and just go shade smoothed. Jump back into sculpting, and let's just do some stuff to add some bumps and that kind of thing. So we want to come here and turn on Dino Topo. That's what I like. And that's pretty odd. Let's do something like this and let's drop some of that and see what happens here. So that's the detail level. So let's go F to scale how small this is. Okay, so it's keeping it relative to how much we zoom into it. So that's not bad. Let's just scale that. Okay, so I'm gonna switch over to this. Oh yeah, we want to shade smooth, of course. So we're gonna come here, and I think under Dino Topo, tap smooth shading. Alright. Of course, cucumbers have a little bit of bumpiness, not too much. Let's do some of that. Let's make it just a little bit smaller. Okay. I'm gonna pull out some of those. I think what needs to happen is it needs more resolution, right? So let's simplify, mask, slide relax, let's go smooth, scale this, let's turn it onto this mode, let's see. Oh, yeah, that's truly smoothing it. Simplify, yeah, so my simplify has more polygons to it, so I'm just going to use that. Go into this mode. Okay, switch back to here. As I said, cucumber is like not even something you know crazy to do. Let's just do this to make our cucumber a little bit interesting. What you want is like the part where it grows. The cucumber actually is very smooth and it's not like a lot of striations like this, so afterwards we will just smooth this out. Whoa. So there's like a stem that grows here, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna zoom into this. It's gonna grow like a, you know, there's you could use there's a snake tool you could use, I guess. I'm just gonna hold shift down to smooth. I'm just gonna smooth this back in here as if like it's plucked. Make this a little bit smaller. We'll control this to eat back into it. I'm eating back into here. Okay. Obviously need reference. Let's go let's do that. Let's smooth out. Let's start to smooth some of these things out. Let's just take a look at the topology here real quick. So this wireframe. Let's start to press Z to go back and forth. And I think there's a we have W also and E or something like that, or 1, 2, 3 or something like max. No. But I've since changed that back to the default blender thing. Okay, I'm just getting rid of all the crazy lumpies that doesn't belong on a cucumber. So there's some irregularity, but not like crazy amounts. Still has to look soft, smoothish, but organicish. Right? And that's touching a little bit here, touching a little bit there. Start making some of them bumps. Let's take a look at the level of the things we have. So okay, so we want to add some more details. So I think the smaller detail you go, the better. Like, you know, you get more. Yeah, exactly. So, and then you want it like relative detail, deeps, relative, and that's I want consistent detail. Let's see how much detail that is. Okay. And now if we raise it the other way, yep, you get more. So let's come in here and let's do that. Let's do 7. Let's do 12. Alright, so no matter what, it's going to stay like at some level of detail there. Alright, so that's a bump. We use smooth to smooth it out, okay? And we want the bumps a little smaller, so let's make the brush smaller. Now you could actually make brushes in Blender that's let's just kind of smooth that out a bit. And I think the bumps have like some rhyme or reason, so let's kind of make them along here a little bit. Let's just do a bunch. If you look at this particular cucumber variety, the bumps is not like a whole bunch all over the place. You don't want to kill it with, you know, all these studs, but let's give it, you know, a little something. I think maybe where it lays, if it laid on the ground, like where it laid, it mightn't have these bumps. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to be smart and surmising about it. Hey, no, that's my friend Android Smith. How's it going, buddy? I think Android Smith is one of my friends that's been watching me for a while. And he said, Nick, you should do more Blender tutorials. And here I am, doing a digital cucumber. Hey, how's it going, Android Smith BR? Seeing that Android Smith BR is here, I'm gonna play his song, the song that I made for him, the rap beat. So hey, you guys, get ready, let's go. This is called xsinick Android Smith BR. Say yeah, let's go. Okay, so we're playing this music while we're making a cucumber. I'm gonna do these little striations here in the Blender game engine. So another Blender in Blender. Sorry, this is the newest Blender. So you know, in the sculpt room, I'm just using one brush, guys. So the brush I'm using here is the draw brush. I'm playing this music while I'm doing almost everything on my PC. That's funny. Yep. Yeah, man, that's great. I'm glad you liked it that much. You know, again, you know what, as I mentioned to you before, my friend, if you have any other music that you like, you know, any traditional Brazilian music, feel free to send me and I'll try to make a beat out of it. If it's, you know, if it's something you like. I know a lot of people like a lot of American modern music, but it's kind of boring taking stuff from there to do that, but let me know. Yeah. So let's see. So cucumbers are relatively smooth, guys. Some might have a few little bumps on there. This may be a little bit exaggerated, but hey, it's a fantasy cucumber and we're using Blender to do it. So you saw where I did the original shape, you know, with a box, and we modeled it, and then, you know, we added some subdivisions, and then we dropped it here in the sculpting room. Let's get the other end of it. So there should be stuff on the end of this, right? So let's scale this brush down a bit. Let's make something like that. Now ideally you should look at a picture to see what that is. It's actually where the vegetable grows, and here's where the stem is. So maybe we can make a stem. Let's see, let's look at that snake tool. Where is it? Snake hook. If we grab that, look what a snake hook does. It grabs out a piece of the thing. Isn't that cool? I like it. So let's make this a little bit bigger by pressing F. And then we're gonna grab this part here and we're gonna move it. And then we're gonna grab it again and move it. Alright, so that's like the stem of the cucumber. Is it doing dynamic topology stuff? Let me check. I know the snake hook should be adding, probably I need to have it in relative maybe, so I'm going back here in relative detail. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Subdivision, collapse, brush detail. Let's see. Huh, that's interesting. It's not doing either way, but it's all good, guys. We know using smooth here in our mesh is going to actually give it that that detail that it needs. At least I thought it. Let's see. Brush details, go back to consistent detail. There we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Cool. So let's go back into shading mode. Alright, so that's a little peak, that's a little stem there most cucumbers have, but a lot of the times, you know, let's see if we can flatten that as if it's picked. Alright, we flatten it. It's been picked. So I'm gonna look for another thing of a cucumber and see what the edges of it look like. Let's do cucumber again. And to get this floating image, I'm using a program called bref that allows you to put images and just have them on top of everything. Oh, look at this. These cucumbers are even more bumpier. Look at this. From Walmart. That's some serious bumps on those cucumbers. Look at that thing. I like cucumbers or Japanese food. Yeah, we could like, maybe next time we do some Japanese food, I could like just do a whole food series of modeling and texturing food if you like. That might be a cool thing. But look at these Japanese cucumbers. I mean, I said Japanese cucumbers. Japanese, you know, Japan might actually have something called a Japanese cucumber. I don't know, but that's funny. Yeah, look at this. This is like crazy bumps, and it has like where they picked it and everything. So let's see if we can get that detail in there. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab another screenshot of this real quick. So I'm gonna use my screenshot tool here, and I think in Windows, you have the clipping tool if you're using Windows, and you can use that to grab a screenshot. Let's go here. I like the way this looks. And I'm gonna copy the clipboard, and I'm gonna paste it in bref. And this is what bref is good for. You can just keep adding images of different things like this. So cucumber. There's some other parts there. Okay, let's cancel that. Let's close the internet. Okay. Android, I like cucumbers also. So let's jump in here and let's actually add something on here. So I'm gonna make this a little smaller and I'm gonna add like a thing around it to mimic this, and then we're gonna pick it. I'm gonna pick the cucumber to give it that look. Alright. And then I'm gonna scrape into it. We don't have to get it like that crazy accurate, guys, because what a sonomomano salad. Oh, okay. I gotta look that up. Is that really good? Search for it. Okay, I'll search for it. Yeah. Let's see. Just do this with my cucumber. Yeah, let's search for that. Okay, let's do a search. Oh, it's got cucumber? Oh, no, wait a minute. Oh, there's cucumber in there, yeah. There's different versions of it. Look at this. Wow, that's interesting. That does look delicious. And then they have one here with shrimp. And look at this one. It's like cucumber with it's like glass noodles or something. I know in the Caribbean we have like a cucumber salad, but this Japanese stuff is pretty cool. Maybe that's something that we do next, right? Make like salads and stuff. Oh yeah, it's all about cucumber. I love it. Okay, I'm getting hungry here, so let's move on to the 3 morning. That's some delicious looking food. I like Japanese food once in a while. It's really good. Good stuff. I like that stuff. Okay, let's go through, guys, and let's smooth up this cucumber a little bit. Okay, so I think we have our cucumber guy here. I'm just gonna dig a trench around this. Alrighty, so here we are. Are we done? No, we're not done. We should probably shade this. So I'm gonna save, right? And ideally, what you want to do, you want to actually do like a topology mesh on this. But let's go straight to shading. Let's make it look more cucumber-like. So if you click on the shading thing here in Blender, anything you have is gonna drop into this world of shading. But before we even do that, we have to go back to your layout. You have your cucumber. Select everything. Let's grab everything and grab it and let's put it right here on this red line. Because this red line represents the red and blue, the red and green line represents the ground, right? And I pressed Shift C to bring my cursor in the middle of the scene. Oh, yeah, she put the music down a little bit. So I press Shift C to put my cursor in the middle of the scene, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go Shift A. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, Shift A, and then select Mesh Plane. Add a plane there. I'm just gonna scale my plane up so that it covers all of like where the cucumber is. And then before I'm going to go into shading mode, and I'm going to go into camera mode. So to go to camera mode, right, you just press 0 on your numpad, and this is the camera, right? And if you want to, right now my camera is looking at an odd part, at a weird part of the scene. So I want to move my camera, right? So what you want to, how you want to do that is you go into view, and there's something called navigation. What you want is go view navigation, and you want walk navigation, but you're going to right click, assign shortcut, and you're going to hold, you're going to press Shift F. So Shift F, and you'll get that now. Shift F, and now you can walk around the scene in Blender with the camera, right? After you press 0 to get a camera. So I'm going to back up a bit so I could frame my cucumber a little bit better. And normally what you do with cucumbers, you normally see them from the bottom up, right? So I'm just gonna view it like this. Right, from the top down. You look down, normally when you're looking at a cucumber, you're not like an ant looking at it. You're looking, you know, like down as a person looking down on a cucumber on a table. And we want to be able to see, you know, what's going on here. So what we're gonna do, right now we're in Eevee mode, and Eevee is fine, I'm guessing. Right, so in order to shade this, we gotta know what renderer we're shading for. Either we're shading for Eevee or we're shading for cycles. I personally like shading for cycles because cycles give you a nicer result, but Eevee is good too. So I just closed bref by accident. But it's all good, guys. You could go get some more images of cucumbers, but let's deal with the lightings right here. So right now this is just the light. I want a sunlight, so I'm gonna select the light, click sun, and right now we have a sunlight. Right? We have Eevee. So for Eevee, I'm gonna turn ambient occlusion on, and let's go into this mode here. So this is the final shading mode for Eevee. This is your viewport rendering, and this is regular render. So I'm just to stick with 16. So in the right here, under these options, the render properties here on the right side of my screen, and I click ambient occlusion to turn that on. And right now our sun is really bright because it's blasting out the cucumber. Let's turn our screen. Look at this, 1,000 strength. So let's turn that down until we see. Yeah, you want like 1. Let's go 1. Press 1. There you go. That's our cucumber. Let's press 3. Give it a strength of 3. That's a little bit better. Let's give it a strength of 6. It's even better, and because a cucumber inside the sun. Yeah, exactly. A cucumber inside the sun. Exactly. A cucumber in the sun. So I'm gonna hit this at 7. Yeah, exactly. And this angle controls how blurry the shadow is. So if you turn the angle down, the shadow is going to be sharp, and if you turn the angle up, it's going to be nice and blurry. So there's a science behind that. I think larger objects viewed at a far distance, the shadows look sharper, and if you're looking at a small object close up, the shadows are more blurry. And it's also to do with the angle of the sun, and it's also to do with the angle of how diffuse the light is, how many clouds in the sky, and this comes into photography. And wouldn't you know, my friend Android Smith BR here is actually an excellent photographer. So as far as like rendering and colors, I'm thinking he's the man for you guys to know how to do this stuff really good, really well. So let's just continue. I talk a lot. Okay, so let's go 30 and shadow, alright, and turn contact shadows on, and we're still in Eevee. Okay, I gotta turn the music down a little bit. Okay, so here we go. So let's see, so now we're doing with lighting, right? And the cucumber, everything is white, the cucumber is white, everything is white. Select your camera up here. And I want to turn everything off in the background and just see the square alone. So I'm gonna go to viewport display, and you see where it says pass out over here? I'm gonna turn that all the way up to 1. So it's just, I'm just viewing just this by itself. Right? So this is good. So this now we're shading everything to look like the way it should look. So I think the angle of the sunlight is fine. But you could play with that by holding this yellow thing, and you could move it around to see. You could go a little more top down if you want. I think I might go a little bit top down off to the, and probably like more this way towards us. I think something like that. I think that's what we're looking into the shadow a bit. Okie dokie. Let's see. So we got that. We got a shadow. Let's save again. Okay. And now we're gonna apply some materials to this. So I'm gonna select the ground, the plane, by clicking on it. And you can see right here, plane. So I'm gonna name the plane that we made. I'm gonna call it table. That's the tabletop we want. You can call it tabletop actually. And then for the cube, I'm gonna call it cucumber. Cucumber. Here we go. Okie dokie. So the table here, what kind of table do you want? I think it should be a kitchen table, and because I'm working with people that do kitchen counters, you know, I'll do countertop. Countertop. And most countertops are like a specific kind of marble, or it's granite, or it's quartz. So let's do a search for quartz countertop. Quartz. Yeah. Okay, quartz countertop. I'm going to go images, and I'm going to look for like an image of but now that I'm working with those guys, I know you're supposed to do quartz slab. Then you'll actually get like an image, you know, and you know, that's just knowledge from working with these guys, right? Let's see. Oh, look at this thing. I think this is all the rage, these kinds of countertops here. Okay, so I'm just gonna open a new tab, and I'm just gonna you know, save this as image as, and let's go to our tutorial here. That's into the home, Blender tutorials. Just gonna put this as we'll make a new folder called resources. This is for stuff like this. Great. And I'm gonna leave this in here as is. Right, I'm gonna select this, and then I'm gonna go over into UV editing. So I select the countertop, go into UV editing, and let's add that on there. Actually, before we do that, let's go back to shading, and let's make a new material on it. I'm just gonna give the material like a slight gray material, so all of a sudden you could see the white cucumber on there. And I'm gonna go Shift A, and then shader, and sorry, texture, and then go image, texture, and go open resources, and I'm gonna open that quartz image. I'm gonna apply the image to the base color of here, and you see immediately it looks like a tabletop kinda. I want the roughness to be down, and I want the specularity to be down. I'll turn everything off, right? Turn everything off. Before we continue, let's go back in while we have it selected. Let's go into UV editing, right? And right now we can see how it fits on here, right? It's not bad, but it's not great either. So I'm going to select everything and press S to scale. This is the UV editor here, and this is a a preview of what you're going to see. So I'm going to click on images here so we see how the pattern falls here. So let's grab. So this should be a little part of that actual image. Let's put it by the more interesting part over here. All right, and I'm actually going to grab this and skew this so it lines up kind of, grab this so it lines up kind of like that. So this is stuff I used to do all day long in my previous job. I worked in an architectural engineering firm, and I did stuff like this all the time for like buildings and all sorts of stuff. It was fun, you know. And even in the new job that I'm in, I'm able to do a little bit of this. Okay. And also for the video game that I'm working on, was able to do some of this, and my friend Andrew Smith BR actually helped me with that game. And he did stuff like this also. So he knows what's going on with this. Okay, that's enough of that. So we got kind of like, you know, this stuff going here. It's not the best quality, but it's good enough for now. I'm just going to select a little bit more and put my cursor down here by this point. And then I'm going to select here. So I'll select here to the cursor, and I'm going to scale off of that just to get more of that in there. So we're going to go back into shading, seeing that we have the texture on there. I said I like the coffee of the green beer. Never gets cold. It's radioactive coffee. That's why he's green. It never gets cold. It's nuclear power plant spilled into his coffee. Okay, so let's control the surface of this. Okay, so I want a reflection, right? In order to do that in EV, you have to turn some things on. So if you go back here, over here in this panel, right? You got to turn on screen space reflections to get reflections from in EV, right? So we're gonna go here. We're gonna click screen space reflections, right? That's on, and you turn half off and you turn precision trace on all the way up, right? So now when you do specularity, you can put some of the spec up. You could do a little roughness, and then you turn metallic up and you start to get some reflections. Screen space. Turn the roughness off. You can see a bit of the cucumber in there, right here on the edge. Turn the roughness up just a little bit, so we go like 0.1 on the roughness, and the specularity is turn that down. Let's turn it back up. The metallicness, turn that down. Let's turn it back a little bit up. Okay, so I'm selecting the countertop. Let's go back in here. Let's see if we can scale the countertop down a little bit. Scale until you see we starting to see the edges of the countertop. So I'm going to scale just for the edge there, so it looks a little bit. So you see, like, the reflection is not very strong in here as of yet. Let's double check all the EV settings right here. So we got ambient occlusion on, depth of field, turn that off, surface scattering. Let's go high quality normals on that. Simplify. Okay, if we turn this all the way reflective, you know, you could see some of that in there. So let's see how we could get this working in the way that we want it to. And I think it comes from the light. So if we control the light and put a light on here, you can see like some of the cucumbers coming up into the reflection of the ground there. Let's do some of that. Okay, and I think also the tilt of the camera, right? So I'm gonna press my Shift F. That's gonna back away, come down, and I think the more perpendicular you are to it, like that, you see like some of the cucumber reflected in there. which I don't want because you look like we're ant on top of a countertop looking at a cucumber. So I'm just gonna leave it something like this. Let's go up a little bit. Let's come this way. Okay, something like that. I think that's fine, guys. Okay, let's continue. Okay, so we got some rough, let's select this here. So we got some metallicness. Let's turn that down a bit. Right. So you get some slight cucumber in there. Size 0.7. Right. And we could turn on the brightness of this color also by using a curves. So if I go Shift A, and I could do a search for curves. I do search for curves, RGB curves. Put that in there, and now you can control how dark or how contrasty the countertop is. So I think something like this might be okay right here. Okay, so the countertop is winning the award for like the show right now. I'm gonna take away some of the darkness away from those lines in the countertop by controlling the way this folds here. Right, you don't want crazy dark lines up in there. You still want some contrast. Okay, so I think that's fine. So with and without, that's without. The curves, that's with curves, or rather with curves. Okay, so that's the end of the countertop. Let's shade the cucumber. Woo! Finally. I'm gonna call this material cucumber. Underscore matte. What do we call the, I'm gonna call this countertop. Underscore matte. Okay, now we need, remember pure ref when I lost the cucumber images? Let's get that again. Cucumber. Oh yeah, I had this image. So this image was nice. Open in new tab. Okay, let's just grab another screenshot of this, and let's put it in pure ref again. For pure ref, let's grab a screenshotter. Take screenshot. And we're going to use this as the basis of our getting the cucumbers to look cool. Copy the clipboard, and I'm going to paste this in here. V. I'm going to tell PureRef, hey, always keep this always on top. Turn that off. Cancel that. Close the internet. And this is going to be how we shade everything, right? Let's start by giving it a base color. You can literally sample off of here. Let's see if Blender would allow me to. Nope. Okay, so oh, it's black because I sampled that by accident. So what we're gonna do here, I'm gonna use a sample tool. You see color. What is this? Okay, that's something different. Sample. Okay, so I'm going to use a screen sampler. So I'm just going to install that in Linux real quick. So that's the one good thing about Linux. There's a place you could go just to get the applications you need. So I'm going to get a color sampler. So I'm going to color in Linux. And I see there's this one, and that one. I think GPick is the one that I normally use and the one that kind of works somewhat. So just going to pin my, we just download that so we can sample the color straight from the image and use that. Now you could actually go in and hand paint all of this, which is what I recommend, but you could start off. What I like to do is to start with using shaders and then bake all of that onto a low resolution model and go in and hand paint on top of that. I think that's going to give you like the bang for the buck and almost makes it look completely realistic. And you could also grab from actual images and use like the GIMP or the Photoshop to wrap it on your cucumber. But we're just gonna do it the fun way, right? Which is to do it by hand. Okay, so we're just gonna launch this. Click on swatch to begin adding colors to palette. Okay, press spacebar on the mouse. Okay, so that's that one color. Let's go another one. Whoop, that's wrong. Come on. So there I'm sampling different greens out of the... Alright, so we have different greens. There we go. Whoa. Okay. So I got my different colors right here. Let's take that off. Okay. So we're gonna use these colors here in Blender. So I'm just gonna go with the base dark green and then we're gonna work our way up from that. So I'm gonna come in here and the hex color on this is... Now the hex color is the number that I saw in the thing that I was in the screen color sampler. I'm gonna use back 906. Bam. There you go, guys. We're done. It's a toy cucumber. Hey, thanks for joining me. No, I'm joking. No, that's not where we stop, right? So so let's continue. So the next thing you might want to do is to add like a gradient where it's dark, where it's lighter here, because this is where the cucumber grows from, like that, right? From that point. So let's do that. Let's add like a color ramp. Actually it's called is it a ramp? Let's see. Yeah, color ramp. We're gonna add that on there. Where it situates on the cucumber is something that we're gonna have to work out, right? So this is the part that, you know, always with me always have to like work out for Blender. So see, so we want to tell it where to do that. So let's come in here now. Okay, I'm gonna keep that over here. Okay. All right, so we need something else, right? So we need to tell it where the shader should fall. I think that may be, let's see, texture. So okay, so I know we have to go input and texture coordinate. All right, so we have to tell it what kind of texture coordinate. Okay. And let's see, UV object. Let's go with object. Okay, so you see that right there? Remember our cucumber is bent, so it's not 100%. Let's go with B-spline, get even shadier shade. Let's see generated. What does generated do? Generated is a little bit better. Let's see how far we could push this. So okay, so we're gonna come out of this mode for now. We're just gonna jump into layout, and we're gonna turn this on. Hold on, I'm just gonna take a look and see what we're doing. Okay, so there's some stuff that obviously has to be tweaked and changed. So this is where this kind of stuff gets a little complex here in Blender. So let's go object again. We could actually rotate here and then go back into the camera view, and you could actually see the reflection of the cucumber in there. Let's go back again. So, and they have camera, window, reflection. Let's see the normal. Okay, so we could do it based upon an object, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make another object in here. Let's see. Let's make this a cube. Grab Z. Actually, let's get rid of that. Let's actually do an actual cube. Cube. Grab Z. Let's do something like that. And let's come back here and let's say, hey, we want this based upon this cube. And that's the object. Okay, so it's going to be based upon that. So I think there's another thing in here that we need to do again. So it's a vector mapping. Yep. So object. Okay, let's see. Yeah, you want to go object into vector and then that into factor. Okay. And if I can remember, you want to go 0 point because there's a bug in here. Okay. This now, I'm gonna do some funky stuff, guys. Okay. So let's see. I think according to how where this is where that is gonna move. You see that? That's what we want. So let's change that to a wireframe. So in order to do that, you gotta select that and go here into object data properties, and then we're going to go, let's see, is it object data, not visibility, viewport? Sorry, okay, so we're going to go into object properties, then we're going to go viewport visibility, and we're going to instead of texture, you're going to do wireframe. So now it becomes kind of like a UV map type thing. I think, let's see, face, if I grab that, hit that on the Y, you know, it just follows, right? So we could have used, let's just get rid of that. Let's just try for an empty. So we're going to use an empty cube, right? That's better. So forget everything I just showed you. So yeah, use the empty cube, select that again, and let's get rid of that, and let's select that empty. Right, so now when you move that around, that kind of controls, you know, the UV of it. Let's see, rotate, it does it on rotation. So let's just rotate that so that we get the proper skinning of this whole thing. And actually I put it on box. You could put on whatever you want. So I'm going to hit 7 to go to top view, or rotate that so it's a nice even thing, and then I'm going to go hit 3. So I'm going to rotate that again. So it's doing all this based on the object. And then I'm going to move this all the way to the end. Right? And that's how Cucumber is like, kind of like being pushed that way. Okay, so now I'm just going to move this guy back a bit. Ooh, actually, let's see. Let's scale that. See what that gives us. Oh, that's what we want. We want a little bit of a scale on there too. So okay, we're gonna scale it into position. So I like the fade on that. Probably it's more faded this way. Instead of a cube, let's view this as a point. So let's select this. I'm gonna go all the way down to the end. I'm going to turn it back onto linear. Okay, so that's the end of that. So this is the beginning. Let's see something. Go to the top. I'm going to grab this guy. Okay. Yeah, we're just going to scale that back so that the edge is there. Like so. I'm going to select that again. Now if I move it, yeah, there you go. That's what you want. Just like that. So I'm going to select that B-spline again to make it really smooth. There you go. And you see how that, so that's what we want. Now we're going to add back that that first green. I'm going to do 3 stages of green. So we're going to come in here and we're just going to add the first stage of green. And I'm looking at the values I grabbed from my color tool here and just add those in. So click on that, and the hex value of this one is 1E3906. Bam, that's the first one. So that's the darkest part. Right, and then I'm gonna add another one. Just come here, let's just go right here. And I'm thinking it's gonna be a nice in-betweeny green. In-betweeners green, so let's see. Let's try this one. And we could play with these values after the fact. It's no big deal. Click on that, and that one is 64883E. Yep. So we got this other part of the green, and then this is a nice fruity green on top. So let's put that one. Select this color, this white. I'm going to change that to that fruity green, which is 72A002. Now, the hex color you could use if you're doing HTML. Look at that. It's starting to look like something, right? So when you're doing HTML, you use hex colors for web pages and for, in CSS. So my friend Android Smith, he's doing that, and I take any opportunity to big him up and all that sort of stuff. So let's see. So I'm gonna put this back a bit, this darker green, and I'm gonna come here. I'm gonna make this a little bit greener, probably a little bit more like that, a little bit darker, so you could see. And then I'm gonna make this a little bit wider. All right, we could adjust as we go along, right, guys? There we go. So that's kind of like that. I'm gonna bring this darkness up just a smidgen. Make this kind of back a little bit. Right. So there's something called subsurface. So I wonder how Eevee handles it. I'm not sure how Eevee handles subsurface. So let's go and check it out. So let's go here. What subsurface is it kind of gives it that translucent kind of look and feel, right? But before we do that, let's see if we can get some specularity going. So I'm gonna put it back in the camera mode by pressing 0, so we can see a cucumber like that. And let's turn the roughness down on the cucumber, so the cucumber is a bit reflective. Let's turn up the specularity, so you see this white stuff happening here. And turn down the subsurface, turn down the sheen. That doesn't affect an Eevee. So if we turn the roughness up, it should spread out that specularity. You could see it right here if you zoom in. So this is the specularity. If I turn it down, it's really sharp. If I turn the roughness out, it gives it that kind of diffuse, what they call a diffuse thing. So it's a little bit shiny, but not much like that. A little diffused. Let's go back in that camera mode. Now, because we're in this camera view, I want to control how this should look. I want the light to go across the skin like this, so it might affect the shadow. So let's play with it. Look at that. It's getting kind of close to what it is we kind of want there. So we're just playing around with this a bit, guys. Okay, so we got a little interest happening there. Let's make that yellow down a little bit. Yeah, turn the yellow down a bit. Let's pull the green back a bit. The dark green back a bit. Okay, so let's see. So that's the roughness. Let's make it a little less rough. See specularity. Specularity is all the way up. Let's turn it down a little bit. Let's see what metalness does. Okay, let's put a little bit of metalness, and that's 0.03. Alright, just a little bit of metal in your cucumber makes it taste good, huh? So, okay, so this is what we got, guys. We got this happening. Let's see what how Eevee handles subsurface. So there's a subsurface scattering in here. Sample 7. There's a subsurface control here. It says subsurface 0. So if you turn the subsurface all the way up, this is what happens. So you see how right in here, how it gets this kind of yellow vibe going, this red vibe. That's the subsurface all the way up. Let's turn that down. Let's give it a little bit. And ideally, I think you should be able to control the subsurface color with this. Well, let's see. Okay, so it gives it slight little plasticky at 0.1. Let's see what that does. Subsurface index of reflection, subsurface anisotropic. I think I want a 0.3. I don't know if this is actually affects an Eevee. Cycles, it might. But there's other like different effects you could do to give this some more things. So you could add like a clear coat. So let's see if clear coat works in Eevee. Essentially, clear coat is like a second UV, a second sheen. But I think it's fine the way it is. Let's see sheen. Is that? Oh, so you could add a little sheen to it. So let's add a little sheen. I'm gonna add a sheen of 0.3. Anisotropic. So do we want this anisotropic? Let's turn that up. Is that gonna affect an Eevee? I'm not sure. Okay, let's leave this as is. I'm just doing a little rotation on our cucumber. Okay. I think that yellow needs a little green in there. So I'm just gonna hit that and just kind of move towards green with that yellow. Okay. Now there's a lot of things I could control the way this looks, but yeah. So let's go back. Let's turn the roughness down like 0.3, so it's a little tighter, so it's not so toy-like. Yep, there you go. Let's go back into our camera view. Not the most flattering, but it's definitely somewhere there. Okay, let's check the Eevee settings. Go open Eevee here. And let's see if we can make that shadow a little bit nicer. So we got a little sample and subsurface scattering. I think I want to go 8. Screen space reflections, max roughness, fade distance. Okay, I think the fade distance is what controls the way that looks in there. Let's give it a little bit of edge fading. Okay, so where were we? Let's see if we can make this countertop a little bit darker. So it's a quartz countertop that I got. You know, we put some curves there to turn down the general. Let's see if you turn the factor down, what happens? Okay, so factor is a lot. Let's turn it down a smidgen, and let's add like a. What else do we want? Levels? I don't think they have levels in here, right? No. It's curves they have, so like another curve to control the whole thing. So I'm gonna curve. Actually, let's do a mix. RGB mix. Let's come in here. I'm gonna add that, and this mix here is, I'm gonna make this black. You can make it any color you want. You could turn that like that, so it's one of the darker. And what do you want? You want to multiply on that? Let's see. Okay. There we go. You see, it's getting that nice edge that I like. I'm not sure if that's an artifact or not. So, okay. So cucumber is coming along. Now we can actually go in, capture this, and then paint on top of it to get more stuff. Or we could just add the actual image, wrap the image on it, and then control the whole thing. I feel like that might be cheating. I don't want to show you guys that stuff. I could show you that stuff. It's not really cheating. It's just adding more realism. But yeah, you know what? Let's do it. What do you think? Do you think that I should go ahead and add the realism of that in there? Maybe. So let's switch over to cycles. Now cycles, you're going to see a big difference with how this looks. So let's jump over there. Cycles, and let's take a look. Ooh. Yeah, cycle wants to be like so real that it's looking fake, because we gotta readjust everything just for cycles. So let's not go into cycles. Let's stick with Eevee. Okay, so I think our cucumber needs to be darker green. Now that we had added all that stuff in there, we're just gonna hit some darkness in there. Definitely more darkness to it. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Hit some darkness in this part here. Okay. There you go. Just trying to get it looking like something. Just gonna press my Shift F so I could redo my camera angle.